These decks seem to be the very best ones for the coming format given the recent ban list. So last weekend we had the big PPG regional major-ish event, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's not a YCS, but it's definitely big. You know, you had around 200 people and they used the new ban list. So this was basically our first way to see what decks are actually going to be shining, what kind of builds you can expect moving forward. Of course, the meta will still evolve from here. We will see people counter picking certain cards. They're like, oh, we're going to see a lot of this deck, so I'm going to play these hand traps maybe. All of that will keep on evolving, but obviously it's really cool to already see what people are coming up with right now. So we got the top 16 here, and I figured we just talk about it, then we can also check out some of the lists, and that way you were more informed. So first of all, we had 31% PK Adventurer. This is a surprise to absolutely nobody. This is the Brave token package together with the Phantom Knights, and it just does ridiculous things. It side locks your opponent, meaning they don't get to use their extra deck, and guess what? A lot of decks use their extra deck. It has the negates from the Brave token or Adventure, whatever the hell. Damn, it's gonna be really hard to change the name here. A lot of people are saying it's a tier 0 format. I don't seem to agree with that. Of course, we'll see, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of solving that still needs to happen. So 31%, still really big. Obviously a really big contender, probably gonna be the #1 deck, but I wouldn't call it tier 0 just yet. Next we had 18% Invoked, so Invoked, normal summon Alistar, blah blah blah. We all laugh with that, very funny joke. It's interesting to me how much more prevalent this has become. Like, maybe I'm just not in tune enough with the meta, but I never felt like Invoked was like the deck. It's always like been tier 1.5 or Rogue or top of tier 2 and so forth, and then it basically dodged every list constantly, except for of course now recently Nadir Servant to 2, oh no. But it seems now that other decks have been getting all these, you know, slaps on the wrist and so forth, and this engine being splashable with a lot of stuff, they're now finally becoming like a real top tier 1 contender, which is really interesting to me. I didn't see that coming. Then we had 13% Virtual World, which is very interesting to me, and I actually like to see that because a lot of people assumed that the archetype was dead without the VFD, and while VFD is obviously a really big deal, it's still cool to see that the deck still has a lot of place regardless of the VFD ban from last list. Or was it even earlier? Next we had 13% Sword Soul, which is interesting to see that it's still rocking hard. We also had 13% Eldlich, and this is actually really interesting to me because we saw Skill Drain come off the list from 1 to 3. Suddenly people were going crazy in all the forums going, oh, this is gonna break the format, Eldlich is gonna be tier 0, Eldlich is gonna break everything, no one's gonna get to play the game, Skill Drain is so crazy. And here we are, like, they barely made it. They made it, you know, good for them. I actually like the deck, but it seems to not be as insane as people were afraid it would be. Next we have Madolche, which I don't know. I know nothing about Madolche. Congratulations to you for doing well with Madolche. I don't know what it does. And then we had a Tri-Brigade. So despite the hit to Lyrilusk, Tri-Brigade is still real. So now we can check out some of the lists, which are pretty cool. So first of all, first place we had Gabemolina. Congratulations. This was the PK Adventurer token list. I assume most of us know most of the cards, but with that being said, I will still go over some of the choices that are less obvious. We have 2 Junk Forward here, which I find definitely interesting because Noman and I, we often talk about PK because we both own the deck, and it sometimes felt very bricky. So it's interesting that he has basically 2 really solid, whether you want to call it a starter or extender, I don't really care, but 2 of those cards that make it so you brick less often, because this just means that you need 1 normal summon of a level 3, which is really easy in order to make the Cherubini. So cool to see that. We also see 1 Upstart Goblin, which is something we don't see often in this type of deck. So that's interesting, another consistency buff. And then we also don't see a Shade Brigadine, which is weird because I thought I saw Hani's deck profile where they mentioned that he was running Shade Brigadine. So I don't know if this list is like incorrect or if maybe they were saying something incorrectly on the profile, but it seems there's no Shade Brigadine in this list. Beyond that, everything seems to be pretty standard. Also, interestingly, no Twin Twisters in the side, so going for the Cosmic Cyclone rather than the Twins, that is something that I'm not sure why. I assume PK now runs like leaner, so they kind of want to keep their monsters to make Cherubini, so they don't want to discard them as badly anymore as before. In previous variants, You could get away with throwing away a level 3 PK because you had a tour guide and maybe a Kagemucha Knight or whatever to make your Cherubini, but now maybe you don't. So that might be a reason. So then next we had Noah with his virtual world. I actually saw this in action. This was really cool to see. We saw the Deskbot and the Destrudo in this list, along with a Ready Fusion and a Sea Monster of Theseus. So this was mind-blowing. Of course, we know that Deskbot, Destrudo, Halqifibrax with Cupid Pitch was something that was gonna come back now. But the Ready Fusion with the Theseus was really interesting to me. Of course, this is like another way to make the Halqifibrax, I assume. So it's not completely like the biggest surprise. But still, I didn't see it coming in this setup, so I really like this deck. Honestly, seeing this deck made me want to build it. You know, despite it not winning the event, it got second, did it really well, and it was just really cool how many little tricks he had access to with the Auroradon and so forth. We also saw the one-off Ghost Ogre for the teleport, so now teleport has like an interruption on your opponent's turn. And we also saw main decked Gamma with Driver. Ballsy. This guy really didn't want to get side-locked or something along those lines. This guy really wanted to stop that from happening. But interestingly, he also played a side-lock himself. So yeah, I still wonder why the hell they kept that legal, but it is what it is. Also in the side, we see Necroworld Banshee with Zombie World. So yeah, a lot of spies going on in this list. I really enjoyed it. And again, like, I'd love to build this now. Next in top 4, we have Charlie, who had his Sword Soul deck right here. Again, with the Deskbot, with the Auroradon, the Halqifibrax. We have the teleports with the Ghost Ogre, so this seems to become like a staple in a lot of decks now. We've also been seeing the Lancias in a lot of sides here, as far as I'm aware. Not in the first place and second place, but we'll see that a lot in like the other top 16 lists. A lot of people are just batshit scared as hell from PK. Guess also to an extent with Eldlich. Then we had another PK Brave right here. So this was Hani's list. Once again, we do not see a Shade Brigadine here. In the deck profile, he did mention that he wants to play Shade Brigadine, maybe, or like that he still needed to test it out and so forth, so that might be interesting. Also different from the first place list is that Hani does play the Twin Twisters, so we'll see if other players end up, you know, copying something like that. We also see an Evil Swarm Nightmare in this lineup, and I don't think the first place one had that. Yeah, no Evil Swarm Nightmare. Honestly, to me, Hani is one of the best deck builders on the planet. He might be the best deck builder altogether. I've been watching like deck profiles of topping YCS lists, and every single time it's like, oh yeah, I topped, and oh, who built your list? Oh, Hani. So very cool to see that. So yeah, big up to him. And next we had in top 8 another PK Brave. This one opting to still play the Kagemucha Knight and also the Junk Forward. So it seems a lot of people are still lacking extenders. We also see main deck Droll, which is interesting. I guess this is something that people are playing specifically for the PK matchup. This one is running the Shade Brigadine, but no wings. And we also have the Raiders Knight in the extra. We also see Underworld Goddess in that extra, which is interesting. And we also see the Anti-Spell Fragrance in the side. Then we have another Sword Soul right here. This one opting to main deck the Cosmic Cyclone. Then we had another list right here. We have an Eldlich. And funnily enough, this Eldlich was like, actually, I only need a couple Eldlich cards and then everything else can be broken engines. So we have the Brave Token engine in this list. We have the Fusion Destiny engine in this list, and then a couple hand traps, specifically Ash and Imperm, and then just all the Eldlich cards, which is really interesting. Also, no Pot of Extravagance in here, rather opting for the Pot of Prosperity. I guess because they are running the Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer stuff, so they don't want to randomly get rid of that. Also, in the side, they do have the Tikaboo that evenly matched the Solemn Judgment, the Lava Golem, the Nibiru, so a very board breaky side, let's say. Next we have, what the hell is this? Alistar Despia? I don't know what's going on here. But good on you, Christopher. This is a very special list right here. Then we had an Alistar invoked with a Dogmatica package with a DPE right here. So no Shaddoll beyond Schism. With also the Mystic Mine in the main. So a lot of people might screech here. Next we have Eldlich again. And this time with the DPE package, but no Brave Token, so a more pure Eldlich. And again, because we don't have Brave Token, we have room for all of those crazy floodgates. We see the Skill Drain, the Gozen Match, the Tikaboo, and so forth. So interesting to see. Also, the side is just full of more of that stuff. We have Evenly Matched, Solemn Judgment, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Summon Limit, just going all out. Then we have the Madolche list. Again, I know nothing about this archetype. Congratulations, Vin. I'm sure Madolche players are very excited for this. I do see Dimension Shifter and Skullmeister in here. Special. We also see Gamma and Nibiru and Imperm. So this deck has like, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13 hand traps. 13 hand traps. And then the 1 Garnet from the in the form of Driver and 3 Prosperity. A lot of cards. Almost half the deck are non-Madolches. But it's still a Madolche deck. You know, whenever we see people go like, oh, it's not a ABC deck because it's not running 40 cards of the archetype, I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's clearly a Madolche deck. So yeah, GG, very nice. And then we have another virtual world right here, again with the Desk Bot, again with the Halka Fibrax, Aurora Dawn, Cupid Pitch. So this seems to become a mainstay now. We have 3 main decked Ghost Ogres together with the E-Tally. We also have a very interesting side. Rather than 3 offs, this is just filled to the brim with 2 offs. We have 2 Droll, 2 Bell, 2 Lancia, 2 Nibiru, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Triple Tactics. This person just did not want to draw 3 offs. They were like, okay, I want to have something for every single matchup, so here's my pile of 2 offs. Very cool. Then we have another Brave Token PK, so I'm trying to see if there's anything that's unexpected. Not immediately. Once again, we do not see a Shade Brigadine in here. We do see a Pancratops in the side, but beyond that, there's like nothing that's instantly super weird from my first scene. No, I don't see really anything weird. Overall, still, congratulations. Then we had another PK, so this one seems to be still on 2 teleport. I'm not sure if it's because the person didn't have a 3rd one, or if they didn't find the room for it. We do see the 1 Ghost Ogre to go find with the teleport, and this one is running the Shade Brigadine. Then we also see the Utopic Future package in the extra deck, so they opted for, you know, having access to that play. And then the side deck is extremely anti-trap. So where usually we see like 3 to 4 slots that are like spell and trap destruction, this person just went, you know what, I would really like to have 8 cards against Eldlich. We have the Harpy's Feather, the 3 Lightning Storm, the 3 Cosmic Cyclone, the 1 Reboot. So that's a lot. This person really was afraid of Eldlich. But interestingly, again, the Cosmic Cyclone over the Twin Twister. So it'll be interesting to see what people are starting to move to moving forward. Then we had, honestly, a pile of engines, which I really respect. We have the Red Eyes Fusion at 3 with the Dark Magician and the Red Eye. So this person really wanted to make the Dark Dragoon. But then we have the Invoked engine. We have a few Dogmatica cards. We have the Eldlich package and Lancia main deck. This is just, again, this is Dogmatica, Invoked, Eldlich with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Really, really interesting list. Droplets in here. I'm not sure how strong this is, but it is really cool to see. And then finally in 16th place, we did have that Tri-Brigade deck. So we see Tri-Brigade, DPE engine in here. Opting to play 2 Droplet, 2 Imperm. I wonder what the reasoning is there. Also hand trap wise, it's a pretty spicy list. We have 2 Droll, 2 DD Crow, 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Ash, 2 Nibiru. So again, like someone going, I'm gonna just have all the 2 offs. And then 3 cross out. So I guess this person, you know, was able to cross out literally every hand trap in the game because he main decked all of them. And we also see token collectors in the side. So this is interesting. I think more people will be doing this. The way to beat Brave Token sometimes is literally just going token collector. All right, stop playing with that Rites of Aramisha shit. You know, give that up. I don't want you doing that. So that might end up being something we see more and more people do if we end up seeing the PK deck go out of control. So that was that event. Again, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know your thoughts on the meta right now in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.